Hi there, it's Malcolm here with my 202nd Booktube video with...
Sabrina, the other half. Better half. The worst half? What are we going to go for?
I don't know, it's your fault I'm doing this in the first place.
I know.
And then you stopped doing it.
I know. So anyway, we thought we'd try something a bit different today. We have recently buddy read and finished The Mercy of Gods by James S.A. Corey, the writing team that brought us the Expanse books.
Buddy read, that's another way of saying I read it to her.
Yes, very much. He was my audiobook. So we thought we'd do a joint review together. I have made notes, which is very good because, as you all know, I am crap at remembering anything that happens in a book once I've closed it. So we thought we'd just do an informal chat about the book.
Yes.
So it's the first in a new series, isn't it?
The Captives' War.
And so it's very much setting up our world, the characters that we know. So the first few pages, I don't know about you, but it's very much setting up this, obviously, alien world because it's a colony of humans. And
well-established one.
Yeah, they've been there a long time and everything, but we have to set up what they're about to lose because, obviously, invasion
happens, yes.
And it's not an invasion where, you know, we're going to be really nice and negotiate with you. This is an invasion where, hi, we're going to kill 1/8 of the population just like to start off. We're assessing your value to our own species, and that's it. We don't give a shit about you, which, you know, for humans is a hard thing to take, isn't it?
Yeah, and so technologically advanced that fighting back isn't even an option. It's just, we've lost before we started.
You know, so very different from the Expanse in
every way.
Straight up, you know, and a lot of complaints I saw about The Mercy of Gods were the fact that it wasn't like the Expanse, and it's like, this is not the Expanse. So if you're going in expecting the Expanse, please get that idea out of your head straight away.
And it's totally different. It's a far off, distant galaxy, well, part of the galaxy, different planets, alien species.
It's just so cool.
Yeah.
It really is so cool, because it is different. So we follow a group of scientists, don't we? So we're following some smart buggers.
And they've just managed to combine the genetics between the species that they've brought with them with the native species of the planet, which is quite a massive achievement. And because they are the best of the best of the best, when the aliens conquer, their team is one that is saved and taken to some other planet.
Yeah. You know, the journey towards the planet. Oh, there will be spoilers in here because I'm rubbish at this sort of thing. So, you know, their journey where they're literally treated like cattle.
Yeah.
Isn't it? They're just shoved in this tiny little space. They're fed and watered, and
they've got a mattress of pooing on.
Literally, it's a poo blanket, and it's like, talk about, you know, it completely establishes what the level of respect is in the structure, and the fact that so many of these humans don't get that this is what they think of you.
Well, the Carracks, the dominating species, even refer to all the aliens as animals.
Yeah.
It's not even aliens or other species, they're
just
animals.
Animals, and it's like, what's your worth going to be to us? What can you give us?
And on the few times that we do get the Carrack's point of view, it's like having to restrict the amount of time they spend with these disgusting animals.
In case they're contaminated.
Yeah, regardless of whether they're human or another species entirely, because they've got quite a few species that they control.
You know,
but they're all animals to them.
So there's going to be absolutely no reasoning with this species whatsoever, because they don't even see us as beings at all.
Yeah.
Everything is for their own personal benefit, and they don't care at all. And that is truly alien, and I think some people might have an issue with the fact these aliens are actually very alien. You know, they don't even think like us.
No.
So we've got all the scientists. So there are 8 scientists initially, aren't there, in the team?
Give or take.
And I can remember Daffyd, because obviously he's like the main one.
He's not the main character, yeah.
So
and he's one of the he's the test tube cleaner. He's just the assistant.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Out of the scale of smartness, he's like down a little bit. But I think because we spend the most time with him, he's the one that gets the most character development, and we understand him more as the book goes on.
Yeah, he's also the quiet one who'll observe and will work things out himself. Not scientifically necessarily, but also he sees how things work, he sees how structure works, and is able to know what to do next as opposed to just react. You
know, because it's, oh God, what's the head guy who's an absolute arse? What's his name?
I've got to look people up.
Toffid?
I think it's Tovid.
Tovid, something like that.
Tonner?
Tonner?
Tonner.
Tonner.
Yeah, Tonner.
He's the lead guy. He's an absolute classic lead smart arse who thinks he's
Full of
better than everybody
himself,
else.
yeah.
Ain't he just? And his reaction to everything that happens, he almost like blanks it, doesn't he? He almost goes full scientific and just envelops himself in the work.
Yeah.
You know, whereas others go into full blown shutdown mode, don't they? Like Cinia.
But then her husband gets
literally killed in front of her.
He's one of the 8th that get decimated.
Absolutely, and she never comes back, and she's like, I'm not going to work for him. I'm not going to do anything for him. I'm not going to help him. I don't care.
Even if it means extra work for everybody else.
Absolutely, she flatly refused to acknowledge the situation, and she refused to even make the best of a bad situation, which is what like Daffod is doing.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And then you've got Jessen. Is it Jessen?
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's So she's
Jessen.
Yeah, Jessen. So she's kept a secret from all the other scientists that actually she's on medication, and so we see, you know, what happens to someone who is reliant on medication, and that's taken away from them because of external forces. How do you cope? How long do you survive, knowing that your medication is going to stop and you need that?
Yeah, it's either severe depression or some sort of self-destructive mental issues which are calmed by these pills.
You know, she's dampened by it almost, and you feel her fear. You know, when we go from her point of view, it's her fear of, oh my god, I need these to function.
But it's also her brother would help her through it, and of course she doesn't even know if he's alive or dead because he wasn't part of the group.
Yeah. So, you know, we see someone else who is just trying to survive through this horrific situation.
We've also got the love triangle.
Oh god.
There's always a love triangle. Well, it's not really a triangle. It's sort of she's with Tolliver to start off with, and then
he's, let's face it, he's not good. He's not a relationship guy. He really isn't.
But there's a different motive behind why she changes allegiance, as it were. And that is spoiler. We won't go into it, but
I was going to spoil.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. So, not only do we have the invading force who have taken our guys prisoner, there is a secondary alien invasion going on here.
Well, it's not really invasion. They're at war with the Carricks, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're definitely invading. I mean, there's no polite way of putting how they get their information.
It's a spy network, really.
Okay, fair enough. But their chapters are really interesting because, again, they are not human. They don't think like us, but they're almost slowly being corrupted by the humans that they...
Yeah, because what they do is they kill their host, but then take it over. It's not like a zombie. It's just a continued animation with all the thoughts and feelings and experiences of the original host, but they're very much in control. The host is technically dead. And during the course of the story, they jump...
It's like 3 different people they've got in their head, isn't it?
4 by the end of it,
yeah.
I think. And
so you've got all these voices going around in their head of all these other people, and it's like, this is actually quite weird because it explains their species very much.
And in the journey over to the alien planet, we learn that one of the number is this thing.
Yeah.
Or has become this thing.
And that's quite a big, like, oh, okay then.
And then you got the traitor, Ricard.
Oh yes, Ricard, yeah. Oh, he's an arse.
Back on the original planet when they're still being scientists and celebrating their achievements, you know, what's the next step? And one of the number, Ricard, he basically...
almost sells them out, doesn't he?
Sells them out, yeah.
Yeah. He's a real arse, and he's like, oh, I've gone for the money and the fame and that. And it's like, you did that behind their back without telling them. So he's already set up to be an arse. And then obviously they're all taken together, and they've got to deal with the fact that one of their number was a complete and utter bastard to him.
Yeah.
And yet now they've got to work with him, and that's quite tricky.
Well, they won't. He's exiled, so him and Cinia.
That's really tricky for quite a while, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where they don't want to know about him, and obviously they're trying to support Cinia as best they can because she's gone through mass trauma.
Yeah. Now one won't, and one they won't let anyone near them.
Yeah.
So that's a really interesting situation as well.
I mean, something that really caught me while you were reading it to me was how, you know, we've got these 8 humans which are effectively representing humanity in this story, and they all seem to highlight an aspect of our human nature. You know, we've got the arrogant one, we've got the compassionate one, we've got the one that shuts down, we've got the one that's just trying to survive, we've got the one that needs society and solidarity.
Yeah.
They've all got an element to it, and I found it actually quite realistic.
Yeah, because Daffyd, he shouldn't have even been there, because like we said, he's not the scientific one, but he's only there because his aunt happens to be in charge of the money for the gift department.
Yeah, which is why he's there. He got lucky, and yet he's probably the shrewdest one in understanding the situation that they now find themselves in. You know, the fact that they're given a task. It's like, you've got to perform this task to show your worth and your usefulness.
Yeah.
And they start this task, and I think it's going to be a fair opportunity to show off their skills.
Yeah.
And it's not. They're in competition with other species that have been picked up. There's literally no rules.
Yeah, there's no rules. They try and sabotage. They get sabotaged and attacked.
You know, and they're sitting there and they go to their Carrick's representative, the librarian.
Yep.
And they say, look, we need to feel safe in order to work. And
you can't work well if you're not safe.
Absolutely. It's like the whole concept of, you can't do this.
Which means you're less useful to us.
So do we need you? And then Daffyd has to step in and go, no, we can, you know, it's okay.
But Daffyd's the one who thinks, well, we need help with this. So it goes to the character and says, can we have some paper and pens, please? So we can note down our equations. Whereas
all the others are just trying to memorise it all and drive themselves nuts from it. And it's like, you know, you might be really smart, but actually the least smart one of you is the one with the most common sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. It's like, I don't need to be smart in order to survive.
So you got interspecies warfare, and they were outnumbered as well, because like I said, we've only got these 8 guys, or people, these 8 scientists, and then there's like swarms of the, night drinkers.
Yeah, like very little vicious Wolverine things. They were evil.
But then what happens to them?
Oh, that's brutal! I mean, again, just highlighting, these guys were absolute awful to the humans, but they're in exactly the same situation as the humans are, and then they see the result of failure.
If you're not useful, this is what happens to you. Yeah.
That's like, bloody hell, that's just, again, highlighting that, you know, anyone is expendable in this world. You know, if you're not use, we don't care, you're gone. You know.
And again, it's Daffyd who then goes on to find other human groups.
He gets a translation box. Yeah, because they've got no translation. They're given no means of communicating with anybody else. They're just like, here you go, get on with it. And it very much is a sink or swim. And I think for a lot of the time, they sink, and sink badly.
And it's Daffyd who sort of gets them through each individual stage. Okay, it wasn't him that came with the breakthrough or the task that they had to do, but by then other things had kicked off massively.
But without him going, I need paper and pencil, I need to negotiate to make sure that my team are going to be safe, I need to go and find a translation box, are there other humans? He's done all the groundwork so they can get on with the job and solve it.
Because a really nice chapter where he's just out in the corridor, or the cathedral as they call it.
Yeah.
And all these aliens are walking back and forth on their various tasks. And he stops and interviews a whole bunch, and you just get lots of different paragraphs as you learn about some aliens. Other ones just tell them to go away, they'll kill me if they see me talking to you, sort of thing. But we do get a little bit more about the background of how everything is, and all these other creatures
connected, and how these other species have had to
either accept
accept or survive or adapt, even, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, no, very cool. It is the first of a trilogy, isn't it?
I've no idea how many books are going to be.
I think it's a trilogy.
Is it a trilogy? Not going to do 9 again?
Well, you never know with this sort. So obviously, as I said at the start, there is a lot of setup, and there's almost like 2 setups, because obviously you've got the original world and then the alien world and the structure of all that. So I'm kind of looking forward to the second book actually expanding this alien planet that we're on now.
There is a short story.
There is a short story that's come out, so we'll listen to that. But I'm looking forward to more world building in the second book.
Yeah.
And I think a more political growth going on, not just between the humans, but also between species, as they try and realise, hold on, you know, the humans are going to fight back. There's no question about it.
And don't forget, this other species that is the spy.
Yeah.
You know, what are they going to do? Are there going to be more attempts by their mother and the
Absolutely.
Because we do get their point of view every now and again, like you said, and they're going to try and get...
they want to bring down the downfall of these guys.
But they need to get the information out there.
Which they need the humans to do that. So, yeah, how's that going to happen in that? No, I think there's an awful lot of potential growth in this series. I certainly think it says an awful lot about us as a species, how we react to pressure, how we react to captivity, which obviously there is a lot of that going on in the real world at the moment, so there's plenty to draw on. But it's also how fundamentally it's our humanity that makes us who we are.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, but, the aliens don't see that. They don't see compassion and support for each other. They don't see that as a strength. That's not a worth.
And certainly in a lot of stories and shows where we have aliens, they're basically humans with bits stuck on them, aren't they? They're still...
Whereas these aliens are...
Alien.
They're alien.
Yeah.
They, like I say, they don't think like us at all. And so it might be a case of actually how long before some of these main characters find their humanity being stripped away in order to survive, in order to function in this world that they found themselves in, because being human is not enough.
Well, it's too much.
Yeah.
Because there's a very human thing that happens in the book, and quite a backlash from that as a result of it.
Absolutely, but I think it's probably one of the few sci-fi books where I've been consciously aware that humanity is the thing on the line.
Yeah, they're very much told very early on that you're not even going to have a chance at this. Because there was talk of a revolution. It's like, you're on an alien planet, where are you going to go? I mean, you don't even know where you are in the galaxy compared to the other planets. So, it's a case of...
how are you going to do this? Oh, you got a few weapons. Well done. But what about how many aliens are on this planet? How many of the other aliens here are going to support you? Or how many are going to support their overseers,
Yeah.
It's like, this, again, humanity's need to overthrow their oppressors, which is a common theme, but it's not even thought through on this one. It's like, it's not a logic. It's not a logical reaction, which obviously is what Daffod sees.
Yeah.
That, hold on, guys, this is not the time to be doing this.
Well, it was a suicide act, wasn't it? It was a case of, we're not going to die as slaves, we're going to die fighting back. It's like,
well, what's the point?
Why bring everyone down because of that?
And, they're also aware that they're a home planet with all the humans that have left.
If there are any.
If there are any, they have no idea how their actions are going to have repercussions on their home planet. So always at the back of the mind, it's like, we've got to do this because...
But at what cost,
who is going to make it out? Are we going to make it out as a species itself?
Yeah. Because, this is so far in the future that planets have forgotten about Earth. Everyone's got their own sort of origin story. I think they do remember Earth, this particular planet, but they don't know about other colonies.
No,
really.
they don't, do they?
And so, as far as I'm aware, they're the last of humanity on this planet. So we might get stories from other planets, and we don't know. We might get that little... Well,
this short story is set in the universe, I think. I know it's got a green cover.
It's got a green cover. There we go.
It's got a green cover. I think it's a prequely thing.
I think it's a
prequely thing.
Okay. Because we also had a space battle following the Carricks, fighting another species.
Oh God, yeah.
And it didn't go quite as well as they'd hoped. I think they still didn't eventually win, but it was a great cost.
It was more a fight, wasn't it? Yeah. They definitely had a challenge on that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, because the being that they brought back, I think, is allied with the spy species. Because they tried communicating, and that went a bit interestingly.
So no, I'm quite excited for the rest of the series, I have to admit.
Well, don't get too excited. You've got to wait.
I know, I've got to wait for it to be written.
So there is a short story, which is nice to have.
But also, I think unlike The Expanse, where it's like, there were character deaths in The Expanse, but they were kind of like foreshadowed, apart from obviously that one. Yeah. Because obviously travelling in space is dangerous and all that. So the dangers of space in The Expanse are
realistic
and anybody can be up at any time. Whereas in this, you don't know how it's going to go down. You don't know what the reaction's going to be to any
because we haven't even mentioned Davina.
There are no guarantees that anyone's going to make it out on this.
Yeah,
because there's no...
And we don't even know what the rules are.
God, no. They won't tell us.
Kill 1/8 of the planet. Who? Because, got a group of 8 people there, and indeed one of them does get taken out before
Don't they do this like, oh, we've assessed everybody on that based on what we've scanned, and this is the 1/8 we're going to get rid of?
Yeah, the least useful 1/8.
The least ones, yeah. So I'm guessing like the revolutionaries and all that kind of thing. I need to go back and look at that because I can't remember. Because obviously we saw one.
Yeah.
But that was the only character we knew that was bumped off. But I don't remember seeing anybody else, you know. And it's like, well, who did they pick?
I think it's more of a fan of Snap, you know.
Could have been, yeah.
I think they'd saved the ones that wanted to have it over so they could
I was like,
evaluate
we've got
these
these ones. I was like, right, this lot, let's just pick 1/8 out of them. It's all random.
Yeah. So yeah, really good. I think the story flowed really well.
Nice character development. Obviously, we know Daffyd really well. He is our main focus. But I felt that we actually got to know all the other characters as well.
I think Jessin, is another really sympathetic character because of the illness that she's suffering, and the fact that she won't take anything lying down. You know,
oh my God! Talk about rage.
I mean, the
Whoa!
fight, she brings the fight to the Night Drinkers.
Don't she just? Hecky thumb. Don't go on her bad side.
And even Tolliver, yes, he's an arse, but you can understand why, and you can see here how he's driven.
And he does change, doesn't he? Over the course of the book, he actually does realise, hold on, you can't keep behaving like a complete moron.
Well, I don't know, because at the end, when he sort of confronts the Carricks at that tribunal...
Oh, he still hasn't got a clue that he's totally not worth anything.
Well, he's still operating on an equal footing with the aliens. He's not twigged that he's nothing to them.
Absolutely.
No, so that's an interesting confrontation, because he's still not learnt.
Yeah. You know, but he's become slightly better human being towards his, fellow captives. Slightly. I mean, he's got a long way to come. I enjoyed.
I did.
I did enjoy it quite immensely.
Is it as good as The Expanse? I'd say it's so different. They're not really comparable.
That's the thing. You can't compare the two because they are different. You know, it's a bigger cast straight up for starters. Whereas obviously Expanse we focused mainly on two with everybody around them.
Yeah.
This is very much a survival story, whereas I think The Expanse becomes that gradually.
Well, that's more of a mystery thriller and all the rest of it, yeah.
And this is an invasion story.
It's an invasion story. And, well, the invasion happens very quickly.
Okay.
It's more of it's a captive story.
Yeah, hence the
Captive's
title,
War is the title. Yeah,
good read.
I recommend it. I would say it's probably more science fiction-y than The Expanse. If science fiction puts you off a bit, then maybe this one might be a bit more of a stretch. But it's a good stretch. So worth going for.
Yeah. Get someone to read it to you as well. Do all the voices. There we go.
There we go. Well, thanks for watching that. Have you read The Expanse? Watched The Expanse? Have you read anything else by James S.A. Corey? There's Honour Among Thieves in the Star Wars universe, which I thought was fantastic.
They are a good, solid writing team, aren't they?
They are.
You know, Abraham and Ty work well together. They really do.
Oh, have you read The Mercy of the Gods? Or The Mercy of Gods?
Yeah, we keep having issues with the title.
Where does the go?
It's in the wrong place. So there we go.
And are you looking forward to book 2?
Thanks very much.
And as usual, if you have nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. And until next time.
Bye.
See you later.